Hi there, welcome to I'll Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Taurus energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. You know, depends on where they're at in having learned lessons in life, how they view life. Some people harness high vibe Taurus energy. They're walking the talk. They have hope and faith and belief in love. They treat other people the way they like to be treated. They encourage other people to grow to their full potential. They're trying to do that within themselves. But some people aren't there yet. Some people could be harnessing more worldly Taurus energy. They could be more about the world, caught up in the illusions of the world. Think if they indulge in these certain things of the world instead of love, that will make them happy. And some people harness a shadowy Taurus energy. You know, they're got some issues that and some lessons learned in life. They could be, you know, something in shadowy nature, but trying to present themselves maybe as high vibe in order to get people to work with them, but it's more about trying to manipulate people to get what they want. So, the overarching reason for the reading, oops, I got something on my phone there. The overarching reason for the reading is acceptance. And underneath that is protection. You know, in high vibe energy, we're connected between like our worldly nature and our more high vibe nature. Kind of reminds me of my picture on my table, which is an excerpt from Leonardo da Vinci's painting on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel when human beings align with our creative, inspired, intuitive nature represented by God. That's when we can create miracles in the world. But some people still keep aligning with their worldly egoic nature in their pride and ego, thinking they're the boss, this is the way to live life, they're sure the way they're living their life is the right way to go, and everybody thinks that maybe, you know, the high vibe people really are kind of protected because they are taking action in truth and love and justice and fairness, and high vibe energy represented by God is kind of backing them and supporting them because they're really walking the talk in high vibe Taurus energy. Some other people are looking to themselves or the world or other people to be the answer to their problems and to make them happy. And they're going to learn some tough lessons that love was the answer. So, depending on how people view life, what they align with within themselves, is how they're going to take action and how they're going to move forward in life. So, what is going on in Taurus energy? We have the fear, focus, darkness, and the reason it came out is because of the blossoming. So, we're either continuing to feel like in our more worldly view of life that we got it going on. This is the right way to do things. But they might be driven more by fear. Might have some lessons to learn about listening to their intuition. Could be kind of going back and forth. Should I listen to my intuition, or should I let my fear or my insecurity or my pride or my ego or my defensive nature run my life? And some people are going to keep moving forward kind of not being enlightened to the truth. But we've all been there. We've all had lessons learned in life, right? And when we're still not, when we're still in the dark about some things and we still have some lessons learned, you know, that's the phase of life that we're at. That's how we're going to live life. And we're going to probably learn some difficult lessons, but we all, pride comes before the fall, right? And we could all think, oh my gosh, this is going to look like I am master of my world, master of the universe. And for some people, it will be a shadowy experience. It'll be not quite maybe what they expected because they haven't been illuminated to the truth. Now, the other people, we're human beings. We've got some fears. We've got some insecurities. We've got some self-limiting beliefs. But the high vibe people are listening to their intuition to guide them. And they're willing to step out of their comfort zone, to face their fears and insecurities, to give birth to something new because they don't want to repeat that old pattern. The other people are still not seeing the truth, and they don't kind of realize that they keep taking these actions thinking this is the answer to get me the things that I want that will make me happy, but they're not seeing the truth. And they don't realize that they're repeating an old pattern because they're sure that this is the answer, just like we all did at different points in time. And so while we could know some people who we feel are repeating an old pattern, we see the truth of it, and we don't want to keep moving forward in staying in denial of the truth. We've been illuminated to the truth. We've risen out of our more worldly view of life or immature view of life or whatever phase of life and how of viewing life that we could have viewed it before. And we're listening to our intuition. And even though I kind of have been viewing the focus card as kind of like a 5 of cups, do we think the cup is half full or the cup is half empty? Are we more focused on the relationships of the past that didn't work out? Are we more focused on what can be? When we let the past kind of be influential in a negative way, like, oh, because of my fears and insecurities, because other relationships didn't work out, I'm afraid of dealing with the truth. I'm going to keep staying in denial of the truth. I'm going to keep staying in my fear and my insecurity. We'll move forward like that. Otherwise, we've reconciled ourselves with this kind of reminding me of a 5, because a 10 is completing a cycle. The 5s can be about change. So, you know what? I'm going to get balance within myself. Yes, I have some fears and insecurities, but I also have hope and faith and belief. I'm going to get balance between my fears and insecurities and my hope and faith and belief. And I'm going to let my intuition guide me versus letting my fears or my insecurities guide me. So the darkness card with the moon there, we're either letting our fears and insecurities drive us or we're letting our intuition guide us. So that could be the difference of how people are moving forward right now. Sometimes we have people in our life where we're kind of mismatched. One person that we could be moving forward with in our life could be more, and we don't know it yet for some people, that, oh, they're kind of making decisions more out of their fear or their insecurity or their codependency. I could be taking action, having hope and faith and belief and love, and then, eventually we'll kind of realize that we're not on the same page, and we want to move. Everybody could hope that people will choose to live life the way they want to live life, that you'll align with me. And right now, some people who are in mismatched relationships maybe don't want to see the truth. Because if we weren't in the dark, things would be illuminated by the light, right? And so it just depends on where people are in the story. We all harness Taurus energy. We've all got ways of viewing life, ways of our philosophy of life. And sometimes we do have some mismatched people in our life. We just don't know it yet. Some people have already seen who they need to distance themselves from. And other people are getting to know people to find out what is their philosophy of life and their Taurus energy. How do they view relationships? What's their dream life look like? What's their dream relationship with? Are we both going to build from hope and faith and belief and love, or is it more out of fear and insecurity and codependency? We come into contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. So then we have the trust, the resistance, and the gratitude. And the reason it came out is because of the unexpected. So high vibe people trust listening to their intuition, again with the moon card, that yes, there are these things. This is a feminine figure's hand, which the feminines in tarot can represent how we think and feel. The masculines can represent how we take action in the world. There are these things in the world that we want. But based on the lessons we've learned in life, We know that if we take action more out of fear or insecurity or pride or ego or immaturity or codependency, we're going to keep staying where we're at instead of like giving birth to something new. So the high vibe people keep trusting and kind of like offering love and compassion and listening to their intuition to temper their fears and insecurities in hope and faith and belief, trusting that based on these lessons that they've learned in life, they're not going to disregard that, They're grateful for the lessons they've learned. I've learned that I had growing and healing, maturing to do. I've been in relationships with people who had certain traits, qualities, and characteristics. I know I don't want to be in a relationship with people like that again. And I'm kind of trusting the process that high vibe energy, again, represented by God at the big picture, is that life's about learning lessons. I don't want to repeat that past pattern. I've already learned the lesson I was meant to learn from that. Yes, I have fears about moving forward into unknown territory, but I'm going to align with my true nature of creativity and inspiration and hope and faith and belief and love to guide my decisions. And I believe that life-giving energy represented by God will help me give birth to something new, because that's what life-giving energy is about. If we keep repeating old patterns, we're going to keep doing the same thing. And life-giving energy is about giving birth to like new versions of ourselves, to emotionally burst out of our more immature views of life, worldly views of life. To have hope and faith, we can give birth to something new. And we trust that the divine works with us to help manifest that. And that it will be something aligned with our truth, because we're going like with the flow, being in our natural nature of listening to our intuition. We've all been given gifts and traits and characteristics and qualities and things that light us up, and unique talent, skills, and interests. And I think our intuition is a gift that we were given by life-giving energy to help us navigate this world, just like bats have sonar and birds and butterflies know to fly to warmer climates in the winter. Animals just do it. They don't question it, but we have free will. And for a long time, we can stay here. No, I don't know. I can't decide. I'm going to keep staying in denial of the truth. I'm going to not listen to my intuition. I'm sure emotionally in my worldly nature that I can work everything out to be the way I want. And I don't have to listen to my intuition. I don't have to grow and heal and mature. I can keep staying in denial of the truth. I can do it in my worldly egoic nature the way I want to do it. And pride comes before the fall. And the shadowy people, or more worldly focused people, they're going to keep trusting that they can keep going on like this. No. I have this more worldly view of life. Emotionally, I'm the one who knows best. I don't have to listen to my intuition, even though my intuition could be screaming in my face, saying, you're being immature, you're being prideful, you're being selfish, you're being greedy. And they're like, oh, I want these things. I trust myself. I don't trust my intuition. We could kind of look at the unexpected card as like a tower card. We're either willing to detach from some old ways of being to keep going with the flow and growing and healing and maturing ourselves, where we go through these stages of life, age 15, 18, 21, 25. When we were 15, when we were at a certain age, it was just and fair to live our life that way. We had come into a new phase of life. It was appropriate. We were 15 years old. But then, as time goes by, why aren't we kind of growing and maturing and facing our fears to go to the next stage of life? Well, because we have these fears and insecurities in the resistance card that, well, I don't know if I can function at that new phase of life. That does require me to heal or grow or mature myself. And the people who keep resisting that, I think they keep kind of experiencing tower moments in their life, because it's kind of the universe trying to tell them, there's nothing new to learn here. This is dead and stagnant. You're not growing to your full potential. And that, if you don't want to, that's fine, but you might have other people who leave you. So the Tower card is like wanting to build a long-term stable foundation with people, but high vibe people want to do it on love, and love is life-giving energy where people keep growing and healing and maturing themselves. And there's some people like, no, I want to keep staying in this tower. I don't want to have to heal or grow or mature myself. I don't want to deal with the truth of my foundation, that I resist change, or I have these fears and insecurities that I don't want to deal with. And eventually people who love them, they're like, well, but I don't want to keep living my life like this. My intuition and my creative, inspired nature of wanting to grow to my full potential is calling me to move forward. I want you to move forward with me. But that's when we can find out the Tower is Aries and Scorpio energy, and we can handle our Aries and Scorpio energy different. Aries is fire sign energy. Is it more about wanting to control things? Or, again, be a good leader in the world, be a good leader in our own life, face our fears, grow and heal and mature, make good decisions. When our decisions affect other people, it's not just more about ourselves. And we're willing to, take other people into consideration. I mean, if we're going to work with other people, it can't be just about ourselves. No. I'm resistant to change. And then sometimes we get in those mismatched relationships. One person has hope and faith and belief in love, and the other person's kind of more aligned with their more worldly nature, defensive nature, ego nature, materialistic, indulgent nature, and they want to keep moving forward with you in a relationship, but you're operating from different foundations of what drives and motivates you. One wants to stay in their comfort zone. I don't want to give birth to anything new, because in order to give birth to something new, the truth sets us free to do that. And some people are resistant to that. But I still want to move forward with you. It's like, but what I'm trying to give birth to isn't what you want to give birth to. You want to stay in your fear or your defensiveness or your immature ways of being or something, or self-focused ways of being. And I want to keep where we keep growing and maturing, and, higher levels of understanding and how to treat other people the way we like to be treated, and more justice and fairness and balance. We all could have gotten in some friendships and relationships or taken some jobs because we could have all been in some fear about if we would be able to create what we wanted to create in the world. We all could have had some unresolved issues from our past that we hadn't resolved. We all have these ideas of how we view the world and these dreams that we want to create. And sometimes because of our fear, we weren't seeing things clearly, and we all could have ignored our intuition to a degree because we wanted to give birth to these things in the world. But I want this, and I might want to get married, and I might want to have kids, and, maybe some of the people who I think are more on the same page as me aren't in my life. And then we could get in some situations where we're not really listening to our intuition, and then we kind of get in these mismatched relationships. And some people are doing that, some people are in it, some people have already been in it. Some people have already moved on from it. It just depends on where you are in this cycle of this phase of learning lessons in your Taurus energy. Then we have the fruition, the abundance, and the surrender card because of the acceptance card. You know, if we realize that, you know, I could have gotten into some situations because I hadn't learned to love myself. I had fears and insecurities. I've dealt with people that didn't really treat me the way, it didn't work out the way I wanted. So then I could have felt, you know, we kind of go to the next phase of life. We could meet someone else that we think, oh, this person is kind of on a phase of life that I'm on. But then, you know, for every level of life, again, we're trying to get more clear about what our truth is. And again, you know, our layers of our worldly nature is never ending. And, you know, we could have had one relationship where we all had some unresolved issues to deal with from the past. And maybe some of those people lack some faith and belief in wanting to hold on to that relationship, so that relationship could have went away. Then we get in another relationship. We could have found someone who we felt was more grounded or stable or more about these things of the world which we wanted to give birth to. So we could have gotten in a relationship with that person. If both people in that relationship are willing, with the fruit basket on the head, it kind of makes me think of people who are willing to learn lessons in life and about their own masks that they wear and deal with some of their own fears and insecurities, then people become independent. So the abundance card kind of reminded me of a Nine of Pentacles Virgo energy. Life is about learning these lessons to become more independent of thinking we know best. And if some of the people that we got in relationships with throughout our life or in our family, in our workplace, if those people are willing to learn lessons in life that get out of their ego, you know, you're right. Just like you, I'm a fallible human being. I have lessons to learn. I have growing, healing, and maturing to do. And if I'm willing to do that, put in that work and effort, I can become independent of those things that manipulate me. And I would surrender my more worldly view of life or self-focused view of life or some of these more immature, shadowy ways of being. And I'd have some hope and faith and belief and love. But some of the people didn't. Some of the people resisted having hope and faith and belief and love, didn't want to give birth to something new. It would have required them to maybe become more independent of their more worldly view of life, defensive view of life, hiding behind a false mask, which is their ego. Like, I like to present myself as willing to bring a dream into a relationship based on love with people. But that's just the illusion and the mask that I wear. I'm really more about aligning with my worldly view of life. Maybe a little bit more about me and my ego and my defensive nature or money or materialism. And I'm hoping that if we get in this relationship, that eventually you'll surrender your dreams and what you want to build a foundation on, to make it about what I want to build it on. And we can all be tempted by our more worldly nature. You know, say you're a loving, giving, nurturing person, and that's a lot of what you bring to the table in a relationship, and someone else might have more of these things of the world. You could be more independent of your egoic nature, so your cup overflows, you're loving, you're warm, you're giving, you're encouraging, you have hope and faith and belief and love. But the other person, what makes them like abundant is they could have more of these things of the world. Well, if everybody appreciates what each person brings to the table, and if, well, for a long time we could be in a relationship like that because we do like complement each other. But eventually it can get to be a problem because the people who are more that just because people have these things in the world doesn't mean they're not someone who builds from love. Some people do, some people don't. High vibe people can have all these things of the world. They can be attractive, they can be charming, they can have social clout, they can have money, they can be stable, they can be secure. It's just that they also have hope and faith and belief in love and are more independent of their worldly egoic view of life. And some people can have all those same traits and characteristics, but they don't really have hope and faith and belief in love. And we can really be resistant to letting them go because we wanted them to be in our life long term, whether that's a family, a friend, or a romantic interest. We wanted this dream to come into reality. But as we keep moving forward in the relationship, and everybody can be willing to grow and heal and mature, eventually we can get to a certain point, though, where we do get to the core foundational level of what is, it's that last thing. Am I willing to get out of my defensiveness? Am I willing to get out of feeling I need to control people? Am I willing to quit making it a little bit more about me, where I want the scales of justice kind of tipped in my favor? I want to kind of be able to manipulate you. There's some last thing I would really have to work through, that I would have to surrender. And it could just be having hope and faith and belief in love, trusting other people more for a relationship to keep growing and healing and maturing. And for the people in your life that are doing that with you, they are working through their own fears, their own insecurities to keep focused on the big picture of what you're trying to manifest, working through their own fears and insecurities of like, oh gosh, this is requiring me to not indulge myself in wanting to make it more about me, or to try to manipulate you, or to try to control you in some way, and they keep trusting in the process, and they keep doing this work within themselves to free themselves from the things that manipulate them. And we keep moving forward. But there's some people in our life that they just weren't able to go to that. There was something they weren't willing to release. Let's go look. What could have been a tower moment, or could be a tower moment in some people's lives? It's like, it just gets down to a core foundational truth. The Empress and the Justice card, and the reason is because of the Queen of Wands. So these are all feminine figures, so it talks about how people think and feel, whether they're male or female. But the Empress energy talks about how emotionally we all want to give birth to what we think is just and fair, based on if we operate from our more shadowy Leo nature of ego, or our more high vibrational nature of Leo. We'd have to get out of our ego to be more authentic, to be more just and fair, to be more loving, to be more warm. We'd have to get out of our defensive nature, our more self-interest nature, our more materialistic, indulgent nature. And shadowy Empress can be people who kind of do want to be indulged. In their Libra, which the Justice card is also Libra, and the Empress is also Taurus energy, in their philosophy of life, in their Taurus energy, and you don't have to be dealing with a Libra or a Taurus, anybody in your life, they either harness high vibe or more worldly or more shadowy Libra Taurus energy, and more worldly or shadowy Leo energy. And some people are, Libra Taurus is about, more worldly, can be I'm kind of more about being enjoying the finer things in life. I'm more driven by the money and the materialism and the status and the image. And I think that's, maybe they don't think there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to in the world, because they do view life emotionally more from their worldly egoic view of life. The world says this is what it is. This is the game of life. It's about, indulging ourselves in these things, having this certain status and image, having people view us a certain way. That is the epitome of truth and justice. And I want those things, and I want people to view me that way. And I want those things, and people who harness high vibe, Libra, Taurus, Leo energy are more inspired that there is a higher truth and justice to aspire to. It's not just about ourself. It's not just about these things of the world, that there is a higher truth or justice. And it's about growing to our full potential from being enlightened to the truth. If you're kind of more worldly shadowy, you might be a little bit more about yourself. My wants, my needs, my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego. Being indulged if I'm immature, or I'm bossy, or I'm controlling, or I'm defensive. I think I should be indulged in those ways of being. I shouldn't have to let go of any of that. And it might be because it makes them feel stable within themselves, and they're just not ready to shed in the surrender card. I'm not willing to give up any of those things. Those things make me feel safe and secure. Those things make me feel balanced. Those things, basically they're at a stage of life where they still think it's just unfair to live their life in some phase of life, a way of viewing life that we all could have been there. It's just that some of them are very egotistical and self-centered and stubborn and prideful, and some of us were there at 8 years old, and we got out of being more about ourselves and egotistical and self-centered and thinking we should be indulged in the world. Life's about learning these lessons, and some people still have a very egotistical, self-centered view of life. Some people think they still should be indulged by people, even if they, like they're the center of the universe. And people should want to indulge them. Maybe they've been indulged people in their life. Maybe they're just very egotistical and self-centered, And that's how they view life. And we just need to see the truth of it, because the truth sets us free. Who in our life is emotionally high vibe Empress is, I'm emotionally loving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging because I'm balanced within myself. I'm not tipped out of balance thinking it's just and fair to be kind of more aligned with my more worldly, egoic, shadowy nature. I've offered love to myself. High vibe Leo, I've chosen to be in life-giving energy. I gave myself love and compassion and forgiveness for the lessons I need to learn, for the mistakes I've made. I've offered love and compassion to people in my past. They had lessons to learn. Some of them weren't very just and fair. Some of them weren't very loving. Some of them could have been bossy or controlling or hurtful or unkind. And I just see the truth of it, that's, we can help people maybe conduct themselves better in the world by how we choose to act. Are we being just and fair and nurturing and loving? But we can be all those things, and people can still act poorly. People ultimately are responsible for how they choose to conduct themselves and the actions that they take in life and how they treat other people. And we kind of get out of our ego about it. That there could have been people that we loved, that we wanted to be more loving and nurturing and just and fair. But, they kind of had their things that manipulate them and their ways of viewing life that they think are just and fair. And we just see the truth of it. And we wish them peace. We let them live their life the way they want to live it. If there are still people that are in our life, we might keep our distance from them, because we don't think how they treat other people or how they act is a very nurturing, mature, just, fair, balanced, loving way. And we kind of give ourselves in the independence card the things that we wish other people would have given us. So it's kind of we get out of our more fearful, codependent nature of wanting these people in the world to love us and be grateful for us and work with us in this more just and fair and balanced, loving way. And we see that they're not there yet. They may never get there yet. And we let them live their life, and whoever wants to keep hanging around them with them acting that way, let those people hang around with them acting that way, and we surrender it. So then we become like our own best mother, father, coach voice to ourselves. And it could have been, seeing the truth of someone's foundation, that they do kind of like to be indulged, or they are more about their ego and their image and money and materialism, and that's how they view life. And they really don't want to free themselves from those things. They're willing to surrender the more people in their life who might be more bold and brave and confident than them. They're going to go live life differently. It's like, yep, I'm not there yet. We've all been there. But then some of the people are like, I'm willing to let go of the loving, nurturing people because, I'd have to become independent and surrender these things that I don't want to let go of, or these ways of being I don't want to let go of. These things that I'm driven and motivated by, even if it's fear, even if it's wanting people to indulge me in my fear. Some people want to be in relationships with other people who are fearful so they can play the role of like the loving person in their life. And that's the role they like to play. But if they get in relationships with people, and so they view themselves as this just and fair and loving person, but only in a relationship to other people who haven't healed yet. Oh, I like to play that role in people's life. I like you to cling on to me and be grateful to me for the fact that I play this role in your life. But if you ever become independent of some of the things that manipulate you, oh, well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go find someone else who's looking for someone loving like me to be in their life. So it's kind of this weird dynamic, right? And that's why we could have been drawn and attracted to some people who are like that, because they do seem, and in a lot of ways they can be this loving, nurturing, stable, grounded person in our life, but they only play that role in our life. It's like a parent-child relationship or a teacher-student relationship. But once you heal and kind of like love and believe in yourself and become more independent, and you're ready to move forward in the relationship like differently, that's when they don't want to move forward with you, because then like the teacher would have to become the student. Then they have to deal with some issues within themselves of why they only like to play that role in people's life. Why can't you be a loving, nurturing person to someone to help them heal from some of their fears and insecurities or self-limiting beliefs? And once they get there, why are you unwilling to move forward with them? Well, because they're okay playing that role and living their life that way. It would have to be being willing to deal with how that does kind of maybe indulge them in their ego, and it validates for them that they're this type of person. And some of those people don't want to see the truth that that's how they are in relationships. And they view themselves as these loving, nurturing people. But if the people in their life heal and grow and mature themselves and want to move forward, it's like, oh, well, you've changed. Well, a bird flies to the nest. Children eventually rebel against their parents. And a little more shadowy energy can be like, I do like to manipulate and control you. I like you to look to me as this loving, just, fair, stable, nurturing, supportive person in your life. You're never supposed to become independent of me. But a high vibe relationship is two people who are independent. You're independent. I'm independent. We work together cooperatively for a common goal, but we respect that we're both individuals who have our own unique talent, skills, and interests and dreams. And some of these people don't like that. No, I like it when people are codependent on me. I like it when, and then they could be confused, not wanting to see the truth that when those people kind of come into their own and love and believe in themselves and are ready to move forward in life differently, well, then they don't like it and they kind of get in their ego about it, which can be jealousy and envy. I wanted you to be codependent on me. I wanted you to keep staying. You could grow and mature and heal to a certain degree, but only to a certain degree. Only to kind of get to where I'm at, in how I view life. But if you want to go further, well then that's going outside my comfort zone, and I have fears about listening to my intuition because that's unknown territory, and I would have to listen to love and intuition to guide me and kind of work through my own fears and insecurities, maybe about being more authentically myself and singing my own song. And I don't like to do that. I like this stage of life. And that's when some people did become independent of them. Some people are becoming independent of those people. When some people have already gone through this phase of life with some people, they have to face their own fears about detaching from some people in their life that they felt did kind of want to, that they were being like a little manipulative or wanting to be indulged in some way, wanted to keep repeating this certain pattern of relationship. And it's like, I kind of want to be respected as not like a child-parent dynamic or a teacher-student relationship. I think I'm kind of, I don't need you to play that role in my life, but I want you to move. I'd like you to keep moving forward with me in a relationship. And some of the people will and some of the people won't. And for the people who didn't, then people need to kind of work through healing from that type of situation and work through how they kind of do want to keep clinging to those people because they don't want to let them go. And they could have really appreciated the friendship or the relationship and a lot about it, but I need to be respected as my own individual to spread my own wings. I have my own unique dreams and talent, skills, and interests, and I don't want to repeat that pattern. I want to go to the next phase of it, and so then I need to work through my own fears and insecurities and love myself to not stay in relationships with people who I've come to feel like are trying to manipulate and control me. And maybe initially those people always were a little bit more about themselves or being kind of manipulative or controlling, and we weren't seeing the truth of it. Some of them, people can become kind of spoiled in a relationship, and if you're a very loving, nurturing person, eventually people are like, well, this is great, gosh, people just love me and are really nurturing and supportive of me, and they kind of can become spoiled and think that you do that because of who they are, but you do that because of who you are. But they could start to think that, well, I really like this dynamic, and I've gotten kind of lazy and feeling kind of entitled in this relationship, and I like it this way. I kind of think that I can be a little more manipulative or bossy or controlling or selfish or entitled because you're very loving. I'm going to basically take advantage of your loving nature, and I think you really do want this relationship or this friendship, and I don't think you'll become independent of me. And you'll let me keep manipulating you because I know you really, Taurus energy is fixed sign energy. We want relationships to work. I think you're going to keep putting in a lot of work and effort to make this work, and that works for me. But as people go through kind of working through this energy, maybe having taken some time to distance themselves from some people, be more independent, and they start to do this work within themselves, and they realize, why would I want to keep staying in it? What is it within me? And how in my Taurus energy, kind of when things show me that these people are behaving in shadowy Taurus energy, behaving poorly, stubborn, prideful, egotistical, whatever, then this card here, the surrender card, reminds me of Virgo energy. And Virgo energy is a mutable sign. It's like the earth sign energy we can transition to out of Taurus when we're ready to complete a cycle. And it helps us see, kind of deal with the truth of some things we weren't wanting to see, that we could have wanted to stay in denial of, or we didn't know, or it really didn't exist initially, but over time it kind of became apparent. And that can be a tower moment for some of the people in our life that were being a little shadowy, because they never expected that you would, and other people in the world in these kind of situations, would kind of do this work into loving and respecting yourself and believing in yourself and appreciating what you bring to the table, and that if people aren't appreciating, you know, that you are trying to be this just and fair and loving and inspiring person. And some people are like, I don't even want to be in a relationship with people who are like that. You've changed. Before, we all could have been on the same page, operating more from our ego and our worldly nature. And now you're inspired to be more independent in the world and have freed yourself from some of the things that still manipulate me. And I maybe never even wanted to be in a relationship with someone who's more independent in the world. And now you are. So yeah, now I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And, you know, kind of once we've been enlightened to the truth and we've grown and healed and matured in some way, or expanded our perception of ourself, or how we view the world, or how we view relationships, you know, it's hard to go back to living in denial of the truth. But it can take time to, you know, we're these emotionally complex human beings. And like I mentioned, the Tower card is Aries and Scorpio energy. We want these things that we want. We want these relationships and to stay in relationships with some of these people that we love. And we have all these complex feelings about people. I hate them. I love them. I don't want to talk to them. I hope they call me. You know, and we have to work through all of that. And some people hope that we don't work through it, and we'll kind of give up believing in ourselves, being more independent, less codependent on them, and that will continue to do the relationship the way they want us to do it, which is, they've already shown us they don't want, they have some things they need to become independent of. They were willing to let us go from their life because they weren't willing to become more independent of some things. They're willing to work together with you in a relationship so long as you will surrender, requiring that it be this more just and fair and balanced relationship, and do it the way they want. And that's, they're shocked that some people have done this work within themselves and that they're moving on. And so that's kind of how the story plays out, you know. Some people move forward with us. They do this work. And we both do this work together in a relationship to keep growing and healing and maturing ourselves, working together for the common dream and goal. But if someone along the way is like, no, there's some things I am unwilling to let go of, or I'm not willing to, that's becoming more independent. Let's go ask, what is something they don't want to become more independent of? Ah, the Seven of Cups. Because of the Death card. Ultimately, you know, two cards of Scorpio energy. The Death card and the Seven of Cups. Am I willing to do to offer love, to reconcile myself with the past, because the truth sets us free. So the Six of Cups is like reconciling yourself with the past, coming to terms with the past, so that you can have this new emotional beginning. Offering love to reconcile these things of the past, to come to terms about the past, to be able to go forward and have this new beginning. And some people are like, I'm not there yet. Or I never plan to reconcile myself with some issues from my past that stop me, kind of have a hold on me, that stops me from giving birth to anything new or being more independent in the world. And it could just be, for some people, I harness my Scorpio energy in a more worldly, shadowy way. Again, don't have to be dealing with a Scorpio sun sign. We all harness our Scorpio energy in these various ways. And some people are like, I'm okay, maybe keeping my emotions buried beneath the surface, not dealing with some of my issues from the past, not wanting to do this inner work to work through those. And I'm okay kind of just creating the illusion that everything's great in my life, because I'm not willing to do this work it would take to transform my life, which is high vibe Scorpio death card. I'm not willing to do the work to process through these things that manipulate me. If I were to do that, and I work through the emotional confusion and my fears and my insecurities and all my different mismatched or confusing emotions, I could transform my life, and I could be free of those things, and I could move forward and have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. But it does take Taurus and Virgo, our earth sign energies. It requires people invest time, energy, and effort into working through those things. And some people are like, no, I'm good. Or I'm not there yet. Or I don't even want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. I get hurt doing that. And I think it's just unfair to operate from my more emotionally Leo, shadowy, defensive energy. I might like being in relationships. I might like a lot of things about relationships. But when it comes to be where I really have to harness high vibe Leo energy, where I'm more authentically myself in a relationship, I have learned to love myself and maintain balance within myself, to not get up in my head and my fears and my insecurities, to be more independent of those things, to have a deep, meaningful relationship. I just choose not to. I have free will, and I choose not to do that. And then we accept that, because we've probably been trying to offer them love and encouragement, to have some hope and faith and belief, to heal, to be more independent. And if they make the free will choice that they don't want to do that, then we have to accept the truth of it. I wish you peace. I hope you find someone who wants to keep living life the way you want to live it. But it's not the right path for me. I can't do that. Because the high vibe people don't want to keep repeating a pattern of a way of living life, because there's nothing new to learn there in the death card. It's stagnant, dead energy. And some people are like, I'm okay with that. I'm shocked that you want to give birth to something new. I'm shocked that you love and believe in yourself enough to want to get your divine inheritance, to grow to your full potential and be more independent in the world and of other people, and your ego and your fear to do more deep, meaningful relationships, when you could stay in a relationship where by worldly standards it could look like you got it going on. You got everything some people in the world would want. But you could have felt like it was more of an illusion, like maybe the other people were in it more for their ego or image, or it being more about them and their wants and needs than what you view as a more just and fair relationship. And everybody has their idea of what they think is just and fair. And you're like, this isn't aligned with my truth. And I am willing to go into unknown territory, deal with my fears and insecurities of detaching that, believing that God has a plan for my life, and that if I listen to my intuition, God will help me manifest that into reality. So, what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Taurus energy that they might not see coming up? Oh, it's a lot. The Page of Cups, the King of Swords, the Chariot, the Ace of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, because of the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is about healing. The high vibe people, it's a process, healing, meditating on the truth of people who we could feel, it's Libra energy, that we could have felt some people were hurtful, unkind, unjust, unfair, bossy, controlling, intimidating, whatever. And we meditated on the truth of it, loving people, treat people with love. People who act with character and integrity act with character and integrity. People who are motivated by truth speak the truth. And we see the truth that some people have some lessons to learn in life. They're kind of immature. So we wish them peace. And we stand in our truth. King of Swords, Libra energy. So apparently maybe a big issue in Taurus energy right now is, just what we think is just and fair in our philosophy of life. And some people are like, I wish you peace, love, and joy, but my truth is that's not my truth, or I've healed and I've gotten in the driver's seat of my own life. The Chariot is Cancer energy. Out of love for myself, I got in the driver's seat of my life and I took the reins of my own dualistic nature. I'm not going to keep indulging myself in poor behavior or other people in poor behavior. I've offered myself love to my own more immature worldly nature to see the truth. I need to heal, and now I'm emotionally balanced from love, and I've seen the truth, and I'm going to move forward in life to become more emotionally independent, because the Eight of Cups is walking away from the Seven of Cups, kind of something that we thought was aligned with our truth, but then kind of seeing there was some kind of illusion about it or emotional confusion going on, people trying to emotionally confuse you about the truth. And you did this work to see the truth, and now you're becoming emotionally independent of the people from the past. And that takes time. When we initially go through something, we can become independent of people, but then it's this process of emotionally kind of more detaching from it, so that we're healed from it and have come to a place of peace about it, and love and truth was the answer. And that then we're really free to have that new beginning. And the Nine of Cups is about what we feel will be emotionally fulfilling and aligned with our truth and the dreams that we had for ourselves. And I think as you do that, and during this process, probably speaking your truth to people in your life that you felt were maybe on the same page as you, if some of those people are moving forward with you, those people just like you are wishing peace to their own shadow nature and people in their life that tempt them to live their life a certain way and hang out with them and be friends with them and be in relationships with them and align with them. And also saying, no, my truth is I want to move forward in a more emotionally balanced, loving, authentic way where people are more emotionally independent, and I'm going to move forward with these people in my life. And there's going to be people in your life that you could have wanted to come with you, and you see the truth that, we can only work with the people who are willing to work with us in take action in truth and love. I think the high vibe people spoke their truth in love to people. And some people in our life have already moved on ahead of us. And they wish us peace and love. But, when we all had lessons to learn and we had to make choices in life of who we hung out with, who we dated, who we married, some of those people that we could have wanted to are in relationships is what I'm basically saying. And some of those people could be wishing us peace and love, just like we're wishing other people peace and love. And we trust that the divine has a plan for our life. You know, the divine knows what everybody's dreams and goals are and what they want to manifest. They have free will to manifest what they want. Some people in life have moved on because they learned more lessons than we had, and they're in those type of relationships. Other people are people who are on the same page as us, and some of those people will be the people who speak their truth to us and move forward with us, or are in our life working with us. But if they're not people in our life, I think you've spoken your truth, and basically if they don't come take action to move forward with you in this way, they're going to be one of the people you wish peace to. And some of those people didn't expect that. So the people who didn't think you would keep loving and believing in yourself could be shocked that you're kind of not giving in to your ego or your more codependent nature to repeat a cycle with someone. And you're like, I've already been there and done that. This is how I'm moving forward. Are you coming with or not? And if not, I wish you peace, love, and joy, but I'm moving on. And I am standing in my truth, and I'm going to keep moving forward in this way. And when people see the truth of it, I guess if that, they're going to have to do this work within themselves to get out of their ego or their fears or their defensive nature or something to tell you the truth and do this work within themselves. And if they don't, then they're just people you're moving on from. And you're going to keep investing in trying to find the people who are on the same page as you. And I think as you move forward, you're going to meet people that are happy. They went through the same similar type of thing in life. So did you. And they're happy you're on the same page as them, because now they can move forward with you. And you'll just listen to your intuition about people you meet, because we live in this world of duality with free will. As you move forward, there's going to be people who are kind of like people in your past. And you're going to get to know people. The swords can talk about communication. The Page of Cups is like, you know, I'll get to know people who are single in the world, if you're single, or just other friends, if you're looking for other friends, if you're in a relationship. But you're protecting your more, you know, moving forward with people in a much more serious relationship until you get to know the truth. And you will maintain balance within yourself based on these lessons you've learned about who you're going to invest more time and energy into. And some of you, it could be hard because you could be a very loving person and you have hope and faith and belief in love, and you know, before that could have kind of tipped your life out of balance. And now you've learned that not everybody I meet that I'm attracted to is someone I should get in a relationship with. Already been there and done that. And I need to get to know people to find out the truth of what is their truth? What are their dreams? Are they someone who wants to just be the next person to indulge in a relationship with me for some reason, but it's more of creating an illusion, maybe because something ended in their life or someone wasn't indulging them enough or whatever, you know. But what is the reason why you really want to be in this relationship? Is it truth and love, or because you just want a place to rest, because you want the justice you think you deserve and you think you'd get that with me, but you're not really on the same page as me? But I think you're going to have new beginnings and you're going to get the justice you deserve. What's coming up for the people? And one thing is, because you keep taking action in truth and love and justice and fairness, not taking out when we don't take action in truth and love and justice and fairness and all those good things for ourselves, we kind of get off the path, right? we take action more out of pride or ego or lust or greed or whatever, immaturity, and we have some hard lessons to learn that are painful, and you've already been there and done that. And it's like, I'm standing in my truth. And I'm not just going to indulge anybody in a relationship. If they're not moving forward with me in this way, then I will appreciate my worth and value and move forward, enjoying my life, investing in my unique talent, skills, interests, my career. And I wish you all peace. You can get in a relationship with someone who wants to live a life of illusion with you, or be in an emotionally shallow, superficial relationship, someone you can manipulate and control. I don't think that's anything to be proud of, but if that's how you want to live your life, you go for it. I hope you enjoy yourself. What's coming up for the people who do live a more worldly, shadowy, Taurus energy? Oh my gosh. It's just so many. The Chariot, the Page of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the reason is because of the Two of Cups. So this is, what do the more worldly, shadowy people not see coming? Well, for one, they're going to have some high vibe people leave their life. If they've had some high vibe people in their life who are loving and emotionally balanced, who have that hopeful, believing nature, who've been trying to exchange resources with them to be in a more just and fair and balanced relationship, and these people are like, no, my foundation is defensive, or no, I don't want to do equal give and take. It's supposed to be more about me. I'm stubborn, I'm prideful, I'm egotistical, I'm self-centered, or you're supposed to want to be in this relationship more because of the ego and the image. You seem to have healed. You seem to be more balanced. You seem to be more motivated by love. No, I am not willing to do that. I am defensive to love. Well, sometimes loving people, keep trying to put work and effort into a relationship, but the day comes where they see the truth. And they see that the people they're in a relationship, that their foundation has a different dream. What they're motivated and inspired by, and what they're aligned with within themselves, isn't truth and love and looking at life from a higher perspective and a loving relationship. It's more about them or the ego or the image or the money and materialism is why they're in the relationship or wanting to be indulged. And eventually, some of those people have some loving people in their life that, instead of continuing to invest in you to try to get you to do equal give and take with me, I'm going to start putting work into my own philosophy of life and loving myself to figure out why I stay in this relationship with people who backstab and betray me, who obviously don't have the same dream I have and maybe aren't authentically loving. They might look loving, they might present themselves as loving, but they're kind of really immature, and it might be more for the Six of Pentacles is Taurus energy. It might be more for the ego or the image or just to be in a relationship or codependent, but it's not the dream I had. By worldly standards, it could look great. But I'm going to offer myself to figure out why I stay in a relationship like this. I'm going to listen to my intuition. And my intuition is telling me to end this relationship. Even though with the Ten of Pentacles, it looks like I have it all. The Queen of Swords, the Star card. It looks like I got it all. But is it based on truth and love? Or is it like the illusion of love? And they didn't see that coming, that one day people who love and believe in themselves and believe in their dreams and believe in love aren't going to keep staying and putting in work and effort in a relationship with someone who's kind of being defensive to being authentic and loving. And emotionally, they start to harness this Queen of Swords and a high vibe energy, and they take action based on that truth in the King of Swords. Where before they could have been up in their head about it, kind of harnessing a more worldly, shadowy King of Swords, or Queen of Swords and King of Swords. And maybe they had their own harsh, critical inner voice and that was telling them, live your life like this, do your life like that. This is the most important thing. You need these people. You're codependent on these people. You love these people. You can possibly leave these people. And eventually they kind of like, I'm getting backstabbed and betrayed in this relationship. These people aren't motivated and inspired by the same thing I am, and I'm not willing to give up my dreams. I might love these people, but if they're not willing to do love, then I'm not willing to give up my dreams. And some of these shadowy people never thought that day would come. And that's a tower moment. Because in their ego, the way they view life and what they think is just and fair in a relationship, and it could be being more about themselves and being harsh and critical and emotionally cold and detached. They think that's just and fair. We have these things. You should indulge me in whatever way I want to be indulged because you want these things that together we have. And some people are like, no. They didn't see that coming. Another thing they don't see coming is once some of those people leave their life, there's going to be other people. You know, just like the high vibe people, there's going to be other people who want to be in a relationship with you. It's just that these shadowy people, if they have another loving person come into their life, this whole scenario is going to play out again. But since loving people didn't make this person see the truth, they might have someone come in their life who's more shadowy. It's like, so you don't want to do love? Okay. Well, we'll send someone in who's willing to invest in you and exchange time, energy, and effort with you because they also, harnessing these energies in a shadowy way, are hiding that they kind of backstab and betray themselves and believing in their dreams too, and they've decided to make their life more about ego and image and money and materialism. And like you, they might present themselves as a loving person in the world and this victorious, emotionally balanced person that people should want to be in a relationship with, but they're really kind of immature in their philosophy of life. They might hide even that they try to backstab the people they're in a relationship with to make them not love and believe in themselves. So those people keep staying in a relationship with them because they don't love and believe in themselves and their dreams either. So you'll keep putting up with me in a relationship, right? Some people are going to manifest someone who's like themselves. And then it's like, well, they could get in a relationship that is emotionally shallow, superficial, no love there. But by worldly standards, it looks great. It's like, well, that's what you thought you wanted. You didn't want a deep, meaningful relationship. Well, now you got it. It is an emotionally shallow, superficial relationship, and you are just creating an illusion in the world of how wonderful your life is. And God's like, okay, that's what you wanted to manifest. You rejected the loving people. If they weren't willing to do life like this and tolerate you being that way, or intimidating or controlling or manipulative or bossy or egotistical, okay, here's someone who's like you. Really? Is this what you want? Do you want to keep moving forward with that person? And some of those people will, and depending on what kind of person and people you've known in your life, some people are driven by, they are very egotistical and self-centered. How dare you not want to do life the way I think is just and fair? I have this image, I have this status, I have these things. And then what drives them, motivates them is shadowy energy. For some people, they'll stay living their life in an icky way just because they want to backstab the people or think it will hurt or backstab the people in their life who moved on from them. I just want to backstab those people who are stable and abundant and grounded and believe in their dreams, like, ha ha, look what I got into, look how I'm living. And that's why they're in a relationship with someone. That's not a good reason to be in a relationship with someone. Yeah, get in a relationship with me. Let's create this illusion. I want those people to feel backstabbed. Look at what I've created. Look who I've gotten in a relationship with. Look, 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 look. And the other people are like, yeah, I see. And the only person you're ultimately backstabbing is yourself. Because I healed from this situation. And I'm moving on, and I hope you enjoy living your life like that. But And they could have other people come in their life. You know, sometimes depending on where people are in this cycle of the story, is they have other people come into their life, and whether that's a friend or a family member, I want to instill fear and insecurity in you. I think you do have fear and insecurity, or I do think you're immature and prideful and materialistic. I want you to let the loving people in your life go, and you aligning with your loving, hopeful, believing nature. Get in a relationship with me. We'll have, this is the just and fair things to do. We'll get the justice we deserve. We don't have to do love. We don't have to be just and fair. We don't have to act with character and integrity. Those people want you or me to grow and mature and heal ourselves and look at life from a higher perspective, and we don't have to. Let those people go. Let's backstab those people. You should align with me. You should, even if I am your friend or your family member, for some a romantic interest, let's both backstab those people because we think that's just and fair, because we don't like that those people aren't manipulated by the same things we're manipulated by. That gets me in my ego. I don't like that they're more independent. I don't like that they know their worth and value. I don't like that they're these more emotionally balanced, loving people when I know I'm not. Let's backstab them. And then what they don't realize is that some of the people they aligned with in their life, that they thought they were going to get justice and fairness with, even if it was them just aligning with their own shadowy nature. Well, our shadow nature is represented by the devil. We got some lessons to learn. The devil lies. Our fear and our insecurities lie. Then we're probably got other people in our life who want us to live our life like that. And then it was all just an illusion. And some of the people that wanted us to live our life like that end a relationship with us because they just wanted us to backstab other people or not love and believe in themselves, or they are all about themselves. And if someone comes along that's got more status, more image, more money, they'll try to go get in a relationship with that person, or someone who indulges them more in their ego. So that's why building a foundation not based on love is always going to backstab you. You're either in relationships with people who are backstabbing you, don't have your best interest at heart, aren't very authentically loving and nurturing and warm and supportive. And if they're not in it for love anyway, and it's more about them, if someone comes along who's willing to indulge them more in materialistically or in their ego or in their immaturity, they'll leave to go get in a relationship with them. The only hopes of having a long-term stable foundation is if people have grown and matured themselves, freed themselves, and are more independent in the world to actually do love. So, the shadowy people, I think, no matter what, the people who have these lessons learned in life, no matter what, are going to feel betrayed. Because probably the only people who are going to keep, well, they either have nothing to be proud of, and they're trying to manipulate and control loving people, and they're angry because they know other people aren't trying to manipulate and control people, and have people who are in relationship with them from love, or they're living this, they know they didn't act with character and integrity and grow to their full potential, and it's more for settling for the illusion. Either they're indulging someone or someone's indulging them. That shadowy Taurus energy. I want these things. I want this status. I want this image. I haven't learned to love and believe in myself. You know, and high vibe people have become independent of it all, and they're living their authentic life. So there you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.